Good morning, class. Today we are going to begin with the third unit, section 1, that is, For a While Misunderstood Him. In this unit, we are going to learn about the importance of science. And APJ Abdul Kalam says that science is a beautiful gift to humanity. We should not distort it. Science is an important and integral part of our everyday life. We owe our gratitude to every scientist who made it possible for us to lead a life of comfort and excitement. For the invention of devices like the humble light bulb to the mind-blowing exploration of space. So students, now we shall begin with the first section, that is, For a While Misunderstood Him, written by Jayan Narlikar. This chapter is taken from the Times of India, 15 March 2018. Now here, the title, For a While Misunderstood Him. Here, him refers to Stephen Hawking, the well-known scientist. And students, remember this, that this lesson is a piece of non-fictional text. When we talk about non-fictional, it is not an imaginary description. Rather, it deals with the real life of a person. And in this chapter, we are discussing about Stephen Hawking. So now, let's read the chapter. Here is a touching tribute to Stephen Hawking, a pathfinder in science and an outstanding cosmologist, by India's best known astrophysicist. Here, the word tribute means an act intended to show gratitude, respect, or admiration to Stephen Hawking. And the word cosmologist means cosmologists are scientists who studies the entire universe. And the word astrophysicist means a researcher on planets, stars, and other galaxies and objects in the universe. So, this Stephen Hawking was a cosmologist and best known astrophysicist. Let's read now. This is a story from the year 1963. A colleague from King's College, Cambridge, casually mentioned, "Do you know Stephen Hawking? Doctors recently told him that he has just about 2 years to live." I was shocked to hear this. Just about 2 years earlier, I had met him when both of us were working at the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, during summer vacations. So, students, the chapter begins with the narrator recalling the story from the year 1963, when doctors told him that he has only 2 years to live. As I have told you earlier, he here means Stephen Hawking. And it was shocking for the narrator, as he had walked with him 2 years ago at the Royal Observatory. The narrator tells us that they had walked together in the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, during the summer vacations. Summers in England used to be enjoyable, a time to relax and have fun. As students, we would be given very little work. At Greenwich, we were put up at an ancient fort that had a lot of greenery and facilities for tennis, table tennis, and billiards, games in which Stephen also took part like any other students. So, students, here in the second paragraph, the narrator, Jayan Narlikar, recalls the time spent in England with Stephen Hawking as a student, where Stephen led a very normal life. He even took part in games like any other students. And he also tells us that in England during summer, they enjoyed a lot. They had fun as they were given very little work to do. Now, the third paragraph. Nobody ever thought at that time that Stephen had any physical disability. His speech was a little unclear, but since the English elite would speak in a similar fashion, I did not find anything amiss. I would think he acquired his accent at a big public school. There used to be a misunderstanding among people that those who spoke with an accent considered themselves special. I had a similar misunderstanding about Stephen. Not just me, even some of my English friends had the same perception. We told ourselves that this is how these Oxford students were. So, in these lines, the narrator tells us that although this Stephen Hawking's speech was little unclear, he used to narrate stories as if he needed it in future in a big public school. And nobody thought that Stephen had any disability. And they thought that the way Stephen Hawking speaks is old fashioned, like the English elite would speak in a similar fashion. Here, the word elite means a social group that is thought to be the best or most important because of its power, money, etc. So, the narrator did not find any wrong in him. Now, here there is a word accent. It means a particular way of pronouncing words that is connected with the country, area, or social class that you come from. So, in the same way, the narrator thought that those who spoke with an accent according considered themselves special, and so he in a similar way misunderstood about Stephen. And he also says that it is not only he who misunderstood him but also his friends, some of his English friends. And they told themselves that this is how these Oxford students were. They thought it is the way of their speaking. When Stephen received his degree from Oxford in 1962 and came to Cambridge to pursue a doctorate, we would meet every day. His style of speaking remained unchanged. When he spoke, some words would slip away. None of us knew that this was probably the first symptom of the disability that was slowly engulfing him. That is why, when I heard the news from my colleague, I was deeply shocked. So, students, in these lines, the narrator tells us that Stephen Hawking received his degree from Oxford in 1962, and after that, he came to Cambridge to get his doctorate. And the narrator tells us that they used to meet daily, and then later on, they observed that the speaking style of Stephen Hawking is not changed, is still the same as before. Whenever he used to speak, some words would slip away, and he tells us that none of them were aware of the symptom that is affecting Stephen Hawking strongly. The word engulfing means affecting him very strongly. So that is why when the narrator heard about the the great scientist Stephen Hawking, he was shocked because when they were together, they never noticed or they never realized that his speech would be the first symptom that would affect him.